What did we say about not filming people's nostrils?
Yeah,
Go.
we had this.
So what we're going to be doing is explaining the Old Testament sections on the book. These are basic points that we're going to be covering, just to give you an idea. We're going to start off with Jacob, Rachel, and Leah. In the beginning of the book, we have a passage from the Bible, which is this one right here. I'm going to read it for you guys. And when Rachel saw that she bare Jacob no children, Rachel envied her sister and said unto Jacob, Give me children, or else I die. And Jacob's anger was kindled against Rachel. And he said, Am I in God's stead, who hath withheld from thee the fruit of the womb? And she said, Behold, my maid, Bilhah, go in unto her, and she shall bear upon my knees, that I may also have children by her. Genesis chapter 13, verse 1 to 3. So what we've realized from this passage in the Bible, that it's pretty much an extended metaphor to the Gileadite society. They realize that Jacob represents commanders, Rachel and Leah can represent the wives. Usually we only have one, but in this case Jacob has two. And those who can't, wives who cannot bear children, are given maids. Rachel in this case had Bilhah, and Leah had Zilpah. She wasn't mentioned in this passage, but even Leah also had used maids to give Jacob some kids.
So now we're going to talk about biblical references to social status. So the commanders, it's like in the Bible it talks about the commanders of the faithful. It's like you can add the head, like the important people in the Bible. The angels, like the people that serve God, and in the book it's the soldiers in the book that fight like against the enemies. And how you can like compare it to the Bible is like the angels that serve God always like they don't like do war technically, but they always serve the God. And in the book, like the angels are doing the words like they're serving God, because Gilead in their eyes represents what God wants and what God. The eyes are like the eyes of the Lord. So basically, they're like spies. They look at where people that commit sins and judge people. So that's why they're called eyes, because in the Bible it talks about the eyes of the Lord. Like He sees everyone that commits a sin and judges them. The handmaids are like Jacob said earlier, and it's like the
Bala.
That's the second one.
It's like the G in Madame Mim.
Keep going.
and it's the one that they just have children. They're like she's like a maid, and they just have children, not actually like married. They don't get children like their husband or they're married to anyone. It's just they're get children for other people. And the Marthas are like it refers to Martha, the sister of Mary, but that's not like the Mary like the mom of Jesus. It's another Mary that like that actually learned from, that's like a woman that always got like taught by Jesus. And Martha is someone that always helped Jesus. She wasn't the one like listening to like the preachings of Jesus. She was the one like serving Jesus. Then the color significance. So there's other colors also, but they refer to the New Testament. So we just concentrated on the one that refers to the Old Testament. The white is like the purity, and it's like the angels. So like, again, like they fight a holy war, and it's like for the purity of like the population. The brown represents the earth, humility, and the aunts. Like they give you an example. Like the aunts always say like women have to dress like with a long dress and always keep their hair tied. So that shows the humility and everything, that they're down to earth, really. The black is the righteous judgment, and it's like the commanders. And like the commanders in the Gilead, they're like the head of the society, and they're the one that created the rules. So basically, they're the one in the way they judge it, because they're the one that created the rules in the society. So like they're basically the judge of Gilead. Like they judge everything that happens in Gilead. The blue represents the holiness, and it's like the wives wear blue, and what the wives are usually married to commanders, and that shows because the commanders are like the judgment, and like they're the word of God in a way on earth. The wife refers to holiness because it's for the commanders and the way they listen to God, and the green it refers to like Martha, and like how the martyrs, and how like they help. It comes back to Martha, like how she how it serves God. So like that's why we say like wrestling with God.
So we have the Old Testament's effect on society. We can see how the Old Testament has that effect on the store names. Back before, they changed the store names to avoid temptation, from different store names and to be tricked into buying things that really were what you expected them to be. For example, the store names when you went to go out buy groceries, there was a store called Milk and Honey, and that refers to a verse in the Old Testament referring to really a spot which is euphoric, heavenly, where everything is smooth. Of course, here they're just selling milk and honey, but that is just the Old Testament reference. Also, we have loaves and fishes. That is a New Testament reference, however. Obviously, they're just selling loaves and fishes, but that refers to the story of Jesus feeding, I believe, 5,000 people with 2 fishes and 5 loaves of bread. And we can also see the Old Testament's effect on society in regards to the greetings. When the handmaids would meet each other, they would greet each other by saying, "Blessed be the fruit," and the response would be, "May the Lord open." Of course, the fruit is in terms of the fertility, and "May the Lord open." I'm assuming that means that make sure that they do not become sterile. It's a prayer, in a sense, to God, and that is their greeting, and that is the Old Testament's effect on that greeting. These are the sons of Ham and Jacob. It was mentioned that the sons of Jacob are a reference to Jews. And the reason why is because the sons of Jacob had essentially 12 sons, and each one represents the 12 tribes, provinces of Israel. And it is the home of Judaism, so it makes sense that where the home of Jews references the 12 tribes of Israel, which is Jacob. Jacob also, after having an encounter with God, had his name changed to Israel. So he was essentially named Israel himself. So all those who are from him, Israel, Jews, are his sons. And we have also encountered sons of Ham, which is a reference to African Americans. Because Ham is Noah's son, who eventually, after the flood, went to Africa to go establish nations who got their skin darkened with the sun, and now the sons of Ham.
So the first question we have is the use of the Bible and Gilead for the improvement of society or the abuse of power?
I think usually everything that starts a new society should be for the improvement, but they lose control of it and becomes after that an abuse of power. So I think at the beginning they had a good intention of improving the society, making it pure, like Ram said, that bringing morals to the society, but after that, we can see there's an abuse of power with the wives of the commanders, and we can see that it's all corrupted.
Okay, but like in the novel often says like as soon as like Gilead took over control, they like took off the woman's bank account, all those little steps. But is that for the improvement of doing all those stuff? Do you think it was really for the improvement?
Well, that's what I'm saying. They had a good intention. They wanted to improve the society, but they ended up not.
Who's they?
Well, the people that commanded Gilead, people that own Gilead, they created Gilead.
I feel like us as readers, like since we're living to this society, we see it as an abuse of power. But for them, at this point in Gilead, they see it as an improvement in society, and that their society in itself is growing. So they really do see it as an improvement. But for us today in today's society, we see it as an abuse of power.
Historically, any use of the Bible in terms of like religious wars and things, always the Bible taken out of context as an abuse of power to improve the society. So they think like most times like cleansing the world or whatever, but they abuse their power by claiming the Bible as their guide. So it is both. It's improvement through the abuse of power.
Seeing it on the outside point of view, the story is just history repeating itself through our society though, like today's society. But in the past it did not work out, so for them they think it's an improvement. But my question is, why did Margaret Atwood rewrite history in today's society? repeating itself, basically. It did not end good.
I think it goes back to what Chloe and DNA were saying, that it was a foreshadowing, clairvoyance. She was kind of warning us not to venture into what we might be going into.
I agree.
I'm out.
I would not say it's an abuse of the power of the Bible. I would say more it's the taking of the Bible too literally.
Okay.
So all these parts in the Old Testament did exist, but I'm pretty sure they did not mean for them to be taken to such a literal degree point, and that's what happened in the future. So they didn't. It's not that they're abusing it, they're abusing the power. It's that they're following it as much as it was, to the point that it was, but to a little. It's taking it literally.
It's not a
I think what I think is like they're taking like they're not like they're just the thing is that they're only taking parts of the Old Testament. So they're taking only the parts that will help them get power and get stronger. Like, so that's why like I forgot like the passage exactly, but like one of the aunts says like a sentence, but she doesn't finish it, and Alfred knows that it continues in the Bible, and it has a better meaning than what the aunt said. But the aunt says makes it look, gives it another interpretation because of what she only says a small part of it. So they only take what they can use to get the power. They don't actually take everything from it.
Yes, you're right. They're hiding the Bible, and they never let them read the Bible by themselves.
Alright, question 2 was how come the use of the Old Testament outweighs the use of the New? So just to be clear, the New Testament is really just a series of stories of Jesus' life and his teachings and everything that comes after his death, while the Old Testament is everything that happened before Jesus, Adam and Eve, and or really just very strict teachings that came before Jesus. So,
Well, with Jesus, I don't know much about like what he did, but I know he hung out with like prostitutes and stuff and like the poor. So it's not like it kind of goes against what they're saying. So the use of the Old Testament is they're selectively picking the parts that they want to use, and the New Testament doesn't really help them.
I think in the New Testament it was like you said, less strict, and there was more freedom that Jesus brought to the world, right? He died on the cross, he gave freedom to the people. And I think that the society again doesn't want any of that freedom. They want to confine them. That's why they use the Old Testament. They use their ideas to convey their message. Because if they,
I think what you're trying to portray, you're like, are you trying to say, why did they use the Old Testament in the story instead of the New?
Yeah.
no. How come the use of the old
Why did they use the Old
Gilead
Testament?
right now has influenced society more based on the Old Testament than the New?
The Old Testament is more like rules and it's more like strict. Like David said. So like if you want to have rules, like strict rules that you have to follow by the letter, the Old Testament is where you're going to go. Because the New Testament is more like stories of, oh here, Jesus did this. While the Old Testament is more like, this is a story, here's what happened, now go and get the message from this. So like if you want to get rules, strict rules like they want in Gilead, the Old Testament would be the way to go.
Just to add, you know how like in the Old Testament like there's more rules and in the New Testament is more morals. It's not like necessarily you have to live by those, but basically like Jesus what he's teaching is like it's better to live by those you get closer to God and you have like a better for society, but it's not like it's forcing stuff. And for them to use, if they want to get power, using the New Testament, they can use morals and get power. They need rules and strict. That's why they use the Old Testament.
I believe they used the Old Testament because it was a lot more open to interpretation versus the New Testament.
what?
I think the Old Testament had a lot of like stories and stuff that
Have you ever read it?
kind of mythic, like they're very, I want to use the word mythical, but it's not, like I don't want to offend anyone. But like the stories of like Adam and Eve and a snake that can talk, like all this stuff can be interpreted however you want. Versus you're reading a story about Jesus' life, you can't say, no, he didn't walk there. Like, yeah, he did. But like the Old Testament, like you can obviously just kind of twist it and make it sound however you want it to sound.
Well, as Alex said, the Old Testament focuses more on the creation of the world. less than a life of a per sentence. They're recreating Gilead, they're recreating a country. Their objective is to use something that will help that. And the Old Testament obviously focused on the creation of the world in 7 days and all that.
Would the society in this day and age be a bad thing? If so, should we push to change countries leaning toward a similar type of society?
I have an answer.
Well, for sure it would be a problem, because especially today, religion is a huge debate, and everyone's trying to fight for their religion essentially, trying to make sure that their religion doesn't get erased.
He's going on
So, no, it would be a horrible idea, because it would create chaos.
Alright, now, if so, should we put the 10 countries that are leaning towards it?
That one's hard to answer.
There are no countries that are pushing towards it. There
Yes,
are
there are.
communities.
There are. Saudi Arabia on the nation of
Alright, but let's take it back to like, let's compare it to communism. What happened to communism?
It's still alive.
It was a disaster. Dictatorship. Bad.
It's still alive.
It's still alive, but it's not, it's a minority.
Yeah, it's not.
China's communist.
Yeah, but
Minority.
It's not the strong communism. It's not the strong.
Russia is a
Gulags.
communist.
Gulags.
Russia isn't communist. It's actually
Can
democratic. Russia.
we not get into that?
It's a bad idea. Now, should we push to 10 countries? You don't think there's any country that are leaning towards it?
I don't know of any.
Leaning towards what?
Their society.
A similar.
It's not as close as that.
There is dictatorship.
It's so far-fetched.
It's dictatorship. I'm comparing it to that.
Alright, go ahead.
Okay, so, Gileadian society in this day and age, to judge it bad, if it was for our society, yes, and that leads to the second question, that if we should push to change other countries, that's not your business. So you shouldn't be changing other countries, just stick to your own country. If we see ourselves, we have ways of family and whatever, so we're already pushing against that. But to go in other countries' cultures and to blah blah blah, do whatever.
It should be the change you want to see.
Human rights.
Okay,
That was a Gandhi quote, by the way.
Let's try that.
Okay, go.
Maybe we're not pushing to like.
I like pushing.
For them to change, but in some way, if you look at some countries, you can argue like if they're going to that, getting close to that Gillian society. We talk about like Saudi, like some Arab countries like Saudi Arabia, Afghanistan, and it feels like, you know, when we buy stuff in those countries, it almost feels like you support in the kind of way those countries. And it's like you're not going against, you're not saying you support them, but you're not making a step to like stop recycling.
Okay, I agree with you that there's some countries that are leaning towards that, but it's not Afghanistan, it's Saudi Arabia. Because Saudi Arabia are just taking the Quran, you're just taking it by word, like exactly like, okay, if you see someone stealing in Saudi Arabia and the police catches him, you cut off his arm. That's what's in the Quran.
It's not a joke. They actually cut people's arm off.
But they're taking part of the Quran.
No, if you get caught looking at someone else's wife, they carve your eye out.
No, that's bullshit. That's
No? Or maybe, I don't know, they cut your arm off or something, I don't know.
no. They cut your arm off.
If you see
There's
someone's
a
wife
judgment. There's
and
a
you see your
jury.
skin, you get punished, right?
Okay.
If you see, like, the reason they wear those things is that they're not allowed to show their skin. So like, if you
modesty.
if you see it, you shouldn't be looking at it.
I don't think we should go into a detail.
Okay, yeah, I feel like we're veering off our discussion. It should be relating to the book, alright? Go back to the book. Go.
I would say it's bad for the society now. I don't think anything to do with religion. I think it's more of a freedom thing. Now we are so free to do whatever we want. We have the world, we can do whatever, freedom of speech, freedom to research anything on the internet. If they decide to cut that off, you don't, like, the whole world is gonna go crazy. You have one person that you get his phone off for a day, he's already about to go suicide. Like, it's gonna be so much worse if you just caught anyone. I know, I'm just kidding. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, if someone takes my phone, I'm not gonna go suicide, but I know it's gonna be bad.
I would.
Sorry, Johan.
But this being said,
She's
in
loose.
societies, yes, where we live in the West, we have freedom and things like that, but the reality of it is
The West,
in
corn
today's
boy.
society, there are countries that we could relate to really as because people have zero freedom whatsoever. Someone mentioned North Korea, it's a great example.
Hey, I don't need to go that far, I can say Canada. Okay?
Where's Canada?
And for instance, okay, the Iliadian government came in and said, for the good of
Conspiracy
the
theorizing
people,
again.
we are going to take away some of your rights because we're there to protect you. Okay?
It wasn't right.
But it was because according to them, they were so far off from their morals, and they were so far off from survival that they had to protect people from the, basically the freedoms that they had. And I would say that we do the same thing, okay? How? Like, think about the new terrorism bill that has been implemented by the government, right?
You beat the game, you're getting the game. Hold on. We see in the book that Gilead is always at war.
Yeah, they can't
When was the last time they had a war?
Physically fighting. Even Canadians have not, we have not experienced that. But